Well, hello. This is Rose RCG Creations. How you doing? We're bringing to you today a breakfast scone recipe. But basically, what it boils down to is you have partially cooked scrambled eggs and whatever meat, like bacon, sausage, whatever meat, hash browns, whatever it is that you want to add inside of it. And then you put it all together, you mix it, and you bake it, and it makes into a breakfast scone. So let's get started. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit pooped. Oven's on, and I'm kind of hot. Alrighty, the recipe says, let's see, in a large bowl, we're going to sift together the flour, sugar, baking powder, and the baking soda. Well, where did I put? I just had my baking powder and baking soda. Let me go grab it. Sorry, y'all. I know I had it. That's what happens when I'm doing two things at the same time. They don't work out well. Okay, baking soda, baking powder. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. But I'm glad I have a loud voice that carries. You can hear me. Okay, we're going to start off with 2 cups of flour. And today I'm using my bread flour. I want to see, because I already made these scones, just plain scones. They were just regular scones, nothing in them. And I did it with all-purpose flour. We really enjoyed those very much. But I'm going to try the bread flour to see how much of a difference in the flavor and the taste that we care for, if it's pretty good. So, I want to try to get some more of these containers, but a little bit bigger. Because look, see how easy it is to scoop stuff in and out? And I don't have to worry about big mess. Because as y'all, my regular subscribers know, sadly, I'm a messy baker, cook, the whole shebang. But then I'm new to learning how to do all this, so I'm giving myself a little bit of grace and realizing I'm new. So it's the way to go. Oh, I need two cups. 2 cups of flour. And the recipe did say you can use all-purpose flour or you can use whole wheat flour. But this one is going to be, and I will put that in the title, saying breakfast scones with bread flour. That way. And I put a link of my other video because I'm pretty sure I did do it. I may not, but I'm pretty sure I did make a video on the regular scones. So I'll put a link in the description box to this video of that video on how to make just regular scones. Everything's exactly the same. The only thing that's different is you're adding the eggs and the cooked meat to the dough before you put it together and put it in your little pan that you're going to bake it in. Okay, 1 tablespoon. Now I know I got my tablespoons. Oh, they're right there. Okay, so 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to get my separator. Sometimes baking powder can cake depending on where you're at. It's raining. We're in South Texas. It's raining here, so it can be humid. And so it's asking for 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm glad I did that right now backwards. Whew. I was going to say, oh no, I messed it up. But now I did it. I got it good. Okay, so 1 baking soda asks for 1/2 teaspoon. So let's get our 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I'm making these Chex Toasty for snacks. 1/2 teaspoon. And it really smells good in here. Got about another 30 minutes before they're ready, but it's smelling good. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. In a large bowl, mix together the flour, the sugar, the baking powder, and the baking soda, and the salt. Okay, so let's get the salt. How much salt does it take? 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just using regular granulated non-iodized salt. And for the sugar, because I am on a weight program, instead of doing regular granulated sugar, I'm going to be using the silcon. It's a low-cal sugar, and you use it for, like, if the recipe calls for 1 cup of sugar, you're going to use 1 cup of silcon, so it's equal measurements. So it asks for 1/4 cup of white sugar. I remember the last time they were good, but hubby and I both said they could be a little bit sweeter. So the next cup up from that is going to be 1/3. I think that's right. So I'm going to do 1/3 cup. Okay. And I'm going to put on here 1/3 cup. So I can tell yes or no, do we like this or not? Or do we need more sugar? Or was that too much sugar? I'm going to put note for sugar, 1/3 cup. 1/3 cup. That way when it's, we'll find out when we do the taste test at the end of this video if we liked it or not. And this is my first time. I've actually tried silcon before at a friend's house, only once. And it was a little different, but it wasn't bad. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. And I'm not telling hubby, so don't say nothing to him, okay? Because I want him to have I want him to taste it on his own. So 1/4 cup, so we're going to use 1/3 cup. Let's see, can I get this in here without spilling? Okay, 1/3 cup. And I'll bring you a close up and I'll let you see it. And it smells sweet. And it is made from cane, pure cane sugar. But something in the processing makes it, I've done a little bit of reading on it, not a whole lot. Let's make sure that's an even scooper. I got my little cutting plate here because I know I mess up. Okay, sugar. We're good to go there with that. And you know what, this little bitty mess, I'm going to show you. Take a look at the sugar. It looks just like regular white sugar, only it's brown. I'm just going to put that in here. It's going to be a little bit over. That's okay, we're good to go. It's sugar, it can't hurt you. And it won't mess up this baking recipe very much. Okay. Now let's put this back over here. Now we're going to sift all this together. Sifting just means just going through a sieve. Okay, let me get this one here. Let me get my big spoon. If I'm going to do my knife, it's a little bit more sturdier. And then all I'm doing is, when you sift something, it makes things a lot more fluffy. And it gives you what I've been told from a lot of my reading is it gives you a better tasting quality of a baked product versus just pouring in there, dumping and mixing it. Because you could do that, but when you can, sift it. Anything to do with flour and baking soda, baking powder, and sugar like this, sift it. And do yourself a favor, try it one way, just pouring it all together, mixing it up, and then try it another way, sifting it. I've done it both ways, several of my recipes, and hubby and I both prefer when I sift it. So I'm taking the little extra time that it takes. As you can see, it's not taking all that much more time. I'm hoping this video is within my 15-minute time frame that I have to give myself. And if it's not, I apologize, but I'll try to stick with 15 minutes. So those little granules of that sugar, that last little part, they were just too big for the sifter. And that's just something that got stuck, probably was wet, because I just got this out of the dish drain. We did our dishes from dinner. So I'm just mixing this. I spilt. I was doing so good. Like, okay, Another video with spillage. Someday I'll get in there and I won't have a big boom. But oh well, it is what it is. As long as my food tastes good, that's all that matters. How I get there is not that big of a deal. Okay, so I think that's pretty darn mixed up pretty darn good. Okay, so let's get all this stuff out of the way over here, because I don't think I'm going to need this anymore. I'm going to leave that right there just in case. Okay, so we mix everything up. Now we're going to add the butter, and the butter calls for, where's my butter? 1/2 cup of butter, but you want to cut it up in little pieces. Okay, 1/2 cup, which is 1 whole stick of butter. And I already had pre-cut that already. I left it in the fridge. Because this is where you're going to get your pastry cutter and you're going to cut into it. And this is what gives the texture for a lot of your cooking. So in a large bowl, stir together flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt, which I did already. Add the butter pieces to the bowl. Use the pastry blender to make them coarse crumbles. So this is, now you can use your fingers if you want to. But the heat of your fingers will melt the butter. And for a better rise and texture, you want cold. That's why if you can, start with very cold butter. Pretty cold. I didn't have this, but it's been out. It's pretty cool. Okay, I didn't put it in the fridge because it's a little too cold for me to handle when it's in the fridge. Now you're just going to push the butter. You're going to break it, the butter, with this little pastry cutter, the little rings in here. Let me bring that up to you. See the little rings? And you're breaking the flour into the butter. So it's going to turn out to be a bunch of little bitty crumbs. The more crumbs you get, the better it is, and the better tasting your end product will be. And you do this like when you're making pie crust, you're making flaky pastry crust, which is a lot like pie crust. And then after a while it gets full. You just get your fingers, loosen it up. And a lot of times this is where I sit there and I go, nah, I'm just going to use my fingers. But I'm burning up hot, and I know my hands are hot, so I'm not going to do that tonight because I am sweating galore. Oven's on. I've been busy in the kitchen right after supper. But I want to have, I'm making these so we have enough breakfast items for the rest of the week. We got 4 more days. Today's Monday. So I don't want to have to worry about having to have everything. And after a while you get tired of cold cereal, or you get tired, like I have oatmeal at the office. I have some oatmeal already there. I eat grits at the office. You get tired of that. You want something different. And when I saw this, I'm sitting there and I go, oh, this sounds good, because it's a breakfast scone made with partially cooked eggs. You scramble your eggs and just barely cook them, not a whole lot, because they're going to bake in the oven, so they're going to cook some more. So that's why you don't want to bake them all the way through. You don't want the eggs to be runny, but you don't want them to be overly cooked either, because they're going to bake even longer when they're baking in the oven. Because they're going to bake for, okay, it doesn't say on there. Ah, this didn't print out my second page of my, aw, man. I'm going to have to go to the other recipe and find out where my next page. It didn't print out my next page that tells you how long to cook it for. So I'll have to get my other regular scone recipe and follow it. I'll do that. Let me bring you back, because I'll need that to go to the next phase. So we'll bring you back when we get to that next phase. Okay, we are back. I found my recipe. I picked up the wrong one. That other one I didn't care for. I'm trying this other one, but it's got the same ingredients. So now we've got our heavy cream, 3/4 cup of heavy cream. And we're going to scramble, lightly, gently scramble the eggs and the cream together until it's combined. But it says gently. Gently stir or process just to incorporate the eggs into the flour and the butter. Got my clean wet towel, because it's egg, you got to be careful with egg. So now I'm just going to mix up, okay, yeah, you can see now I'm in frame. I'm just going to mix up the egg yolk with the heavy cream. And it is, make sure it's cold heavy cream, which of course it sits in the fridge, so it's cold. Now they do sell the powdered heavy cream when I have some of that. But I wanted to hurry up and use this heavy cream because it's been in the fridge for a couple of weeks. I don't like heavy cream to sit in the fridge for too long. Okay, so it looks like all my egg is mixed up together. Okay, so in a large bowl, the wok bowl, food processor, we did all that. Cut the butter, and see how I cut my butter and see all the little dough pieces in there? Okay, so that's been done. In a medium bowl, you want to beat 2 of the raw eggs and the cream into a combine. Gently stir or process. Just incorporate the eggs into the flour and the butter. Do not over mix. Okay, so I'm going to pour this in. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's move this, my alarm from my other project. Move that out of the way. Oh, where did I knew I had a spoon here. Oh, let me use this. Okay, so in a medium bowl, beat 2 of the eggs. Gently stir and process just in front. Incorporate the eggs into the flour butter. Do not over mix. Okay, so I'm just getting the flour in the mixture. I don't want to over mix. I think you want to incorporate everything. So don't forget, go to the bottom center of your bowl, because there's where a lot of the flour will stay and it won't incorporate with your wet mixture that you just poured in. And don't forget, turn your bowl around to make sure that all the dry stuff incorporates without over mixing in with your wet stuff. Let me use my fork. It's a lot better than using this. This is just my straighter of my measuring cups. It's kind of flimsy because it's plastic. Okay, there we go. And don't forget, turn your bowl around, because you see how you still have some dry stuff right there in the center? On the edges there? You want to incorporate that, so make sure that all the wet stuff gets in with the dry stuff, and it mixes good without over mixing. Oh, look at that. A big old pile of dry stuff. Right in the dead center bottom. Let me mix that part in here. I don't want to over mix, but I do need to get that incorporated together. Glad I'm using a big bowl, and you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, I think that's pretty well mixed up together. It looks good to me. Okay, if using the processor, dump the flour, the butter mixture into a clean bowl. Well, I'm not doing that because I'm not using a food processor. Then you want to cut the squares to form a dough to 6 triangles. Place the scones at least 1 inch apart. On a baking sheet, beat the remaining egg and 2 tablespoons water and use the wash to rush the tops. Well, when do you put the eggs, the lightly cooked eggs? Gently in a medium bowl. Gently stir and process just to incorporate the egg into the flour, butter. Do not overmix. If using the food processor, did I do this right? Oh, no, I did it right. Oh, here we go. Now we do. Okay, after we've done this part, now we want to fold in the cheese, the scrambled eggs, and the bacon into the mixture. So I did that. So here's my cheese, and we want to use, and I'm sure you can use as much cheese as you want. So 2 ounces of shredded cheese, and you want it to be cold cheese. And this is the cheese that I shredded myself. I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm not going to overly measure. You can if you want to. It just says 1/2 cup. And 1/2 cup really isn't a whole lot. But I think I already got my 1/3 cup. Where's my 1/2 cup? I'm gonna just measure that part. This is a perfect time when you want to work with clean pans and clean utensils. Because remember, you're eating this stuff. I think that, along with what I already poured, is going to be good enough. Now I want to break this up. This was the cheese that we were using it for pizzas. We liked little chunks of cheese in it. So this is the extra cheese that we had left over. So I just stuck it in the same bag with my shredded cheese. It was the same brand of cheese. I just shredded it. And in the oven it's going to melt, so it'll be good. I just want to break up the big pieces. Let's go get our partially cooked eggs. Oh, I got some on the board. Sorry guys, I was making some, whoops, oh, what did I do wrong? Something did wrong. Something with my oven. Okay. Off, bake, 450. Start. Okay, now it's on preheat. Okay. I wanted to show you, sorry about that, I was doing two things at one time, I shouldn't be doing that. See how the egg's partially cooked? It's not cooked all the way. Hold on, make sure, yeah, it's cold. It said make sure the eggs are cold. And I'm sure it's because it's in this mixture. Okay, let me go get my bacon. Now, I bake my bacon in a cookie sheet in the oven, a whole pound of bacon. Then I put it in a freezer bag, and it sometimes sits in the freezer, sometimes it sits in the fridge, depending on what we're going to do. So I didn't break this up. I had it broke up, but hubby got into the bacon this morning, and he ate my broken up pieces. He put it inside a sandwich he made for his breakfast. So it is what it is, not a big deal. Just going to take an extra few minutes to crumble up my, and you can skip the bacon, add sausage, which I do have sausage, but I'm skipping the sausage right now. I'm going to save that sausage to go with this bacon, and we're going to have breakfast burritos. So we're set for the whole next 7 days with breakfast items because we're going to be busy all this week. We have some work being done at the house. And we're going to have people in and out because that part is a little too hard for my, can't break it up. I have to use a knife and cut that up. Okay. I think that's good enough. Now we just want to mix this all up and incorporate it all together. And then we're going to put it in our scones. And I forgot, do I need to? Ooh, I'm getting this all dirty. Oh, that's okay. I've got an extra copy. I made an extra copy. We're good to go. Place the scones. Once you part into a baking sheet, beat the remaining one with water and use a wash to brush the tops of the scones. Fold the cheese, eggs. Okay, so fold the cheese, the scrambled eggs, and the bacon into the flour mixture, which is what we just did. The dough will be sticky and chunky, which it is. Stir and knead the dough as little as possible while evenly distributing the cheese, scrambled eggs, and bacon throughout. Okay, got it. So I'm trying to mix up the scrambled egg a little bit so you don't get a big old piece of scrambled egg. But I really think this is pretty much done. So I'm going to put this and shape it. Transfer the dough into a well-floured work surface. Pat the dough into a rectangle about 1/4 inch. Cut the dough into 3-inch squares. So this is where you want it to get into a dough. You want to make it into a dough. So let me get some more of my bread flour. Because I started with bread flour, I'm going to finish with bread flour. And let me just sprinkle me some on my clean table, because it was clean when I first started. Let me just grab that pieces of cheese there. Let's put this over here out of the way. Okay, and here's where we're going to knead this whole thing, and then we're going to put it in our scone. See how it says it's all wet, which it is wet and chunky. Okay, come on out. And this hasn't even baked yet, and it's already smelling good. Okay, let's leave that there. Let me just sprinkle a little bit on my hands so I can work with this. And then you just want to kind of turn it into a dough with all the flour that you have. And if you have a pastry sheet, that's great. If you don't, that's okay. Just use your clean table. It'll work also. But see how it's, yeah, you can see me. Get this out of the way. See, it's not so sticky no more because you added some more flour to it. I think I'm going to need some more flour. But you don't want to work it too much because I do know you don't want to knead it. Thank goodness it's got my sheet protector that protects my recipe from getting yucky. But see how the bottom here? Let me get some more flour. As you said, place the scones at least 1 inch apart on the baking sheet, but when I'm using an actual scone silicone mat. So I don't have to worry about that part. But if you don't, you can put it on a cookie sheet. Just make sure they're 1 inch apart. I will put, of course, like usual, the full details with the directions in the description box. But see how it's the flour is getting all the stuff from being so sticky? See, now it's more pliable and it's easier to work with. Okay, now let's get some of this stuff because we're not going to waste this part here because this is good. I just need to incorporate it. Need some more flour because we need all this. See that how it's starting to fall apart now? Starting to cling together. It's forming the shape of a dough. I may need some more flour, may not. See that? See how it's all coming together? Yep, I'm going to need some more flour. Let me grab some more flour. And sprinkle some of that over on the edges there. This is another time it's a good thing you've got a bigger bowl than you think you're going to need. It's always to go with a bigger bowl than it is a smaller bowl. Okay, see how that's clumping together? See that? Let's get a little bit of flour over here on this part. Because this is enough to do like half a scone. You don't want to waste it. That's good food, just because you're getting your fingers a little dirty and messy. Okay, I think I've got most of it done. It's close enough for me. I'm good to go with that. I had some dough on the bowl. Oh well, it'll work. It'll come out. It'll be good. Just toss this in the washer. Okay, now let's mix all this up. And we are about ready to roll. So I'm just wiping off this excess dough mixture in my pot. And this is a little scone silicone mat, which I used last time. And I really enjoyed it. It turned out great. And you just want to pop it in. And it will, as it bakes, it will expand. And yeah, the center of the dough is a little on the sticky side, but that's okay because I got my flour right here. If it gets too much, I'll just add some flour to it. But it's all going to bake. And these scones are they're not pretty looking, but they taste good. It's not pretty looking like a cake. It's all smooth. It's sticky. But if I need to, if I grab me some, I can put some more because you know that just the outside was part that was smooth. But now that I'm getting it to work and I'm working with it, see how it's no longer sticky. But you don't want to overwork it either. Okay. What I've done a lot of my reading is with scones, you don't want to overwork it. You don't want to over knead it. I'm actually going to have enough to put on a fill up. I think I will have enough to fill them all up. Good, because I added that bacon, I added the egg. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. Now they're going to rise. So they're going to rise up bigger than what you have. Oops, I poured a little too much there. That's okay. Let's just work over here on the side. Yeah, you can see them. Okay, my oven's ready. Yay! I'm going to squeeze that down in there. Let's squeeze a little bit more into this guy here. And the reason when you push it down, because you want to make sure that as it's baking, it all connects together. Let's put a little bit more on this guy here. A little bit of flour there. I want to make sure I fill all my cavities of this mold pretty good. Okay. Now, I personally prefer all my silicone mats. I put them on a cookie sheet, then I put them in the oven. It's because they're flimsy and they fall apart on you. Okay, just FYI. Ask me how I know that, and ask me what happens when they fall apart. They bend over, they fall, and you lose your product. Okay, I think we are done. I think we're good to go. I'm going to wash my hands. Because that one's going to be a little small one, but that's okay. It ain't going to hurt nothing. That one's going to be a little small one, but that's okay. We're going to have some that are a little bit bigger. And we'll bring you back after we do them, put them in the oven. And I'll do some more directions. It says we're going to bake it for 10 to 12 minutes at a 450 degrees. So we'll bring you back. I forgot I had to wash my hands anyway. Got a big mess. Get an egg, scramble it. You can add a little bit of water, no water. Sometimes I add water, sometimes I don't. Because there's not very many and they're already in a mold, so I'm not going to worry about the sides because the sides are already in the cake mold. And this is what I've done before, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. Now we're just going to get a pastry brush. And you want to coat all of the top. And this is what they call the egg wash. And remember, it's only going to cook for 10 to 15 minutes. So when you made those partially cooked eggs, you just barely got them cooked. They're not going to overcook. I know some people don't like overcooked eggs. Some people don't mind it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm just making sure that everything is coated. And I'm going to use all my egg. And I don't care if it has a little bit left over, because this is a breakfast that's already got eggs already in it. Okay, I think we're good to go. Put that on there, put the flour. Whew, I don't want to get my hand on dirty. And I just used a pizza pan, and I'm just going to put this in the oven. We'll bring it back when we come do the taste test. Okay, we are back. Look how pretty those turned out. See how they puffed up? Told you they would rise. But this is what a scone looks like. Now let's get ready to do the taste test. Let's pick the little one. I already inserted a toothpick. It's still kind of warm. Let me put... No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get a plate. Ouch. A little warm, but look how pretty. Look at that. And then look at the inside. Outside. The bottom part. Okay, let's make sure I'm in frame. Let's cut right into it. Ooh, yeah, look at that. You can see a little piece of the egg right there. Now let's do the best part, which is the taste test. Okay, I'm going to squat down. Smells good. Because remember, we use that silcon sugar. I like this one because this is a breakfast scone, so it's not overly sweet. You got your egg, your bacon, your cheese. Cheese is all melted. You taste it, you can't see it. See that right there? There's a piece of the egg. The cheese is all melted inside there. Don't forget. Hold on. Sorry about that. I used bread flour, not all-purpose flour or wheat flour. I used bread flour. Then I used the silcon sugar versus all granulated sugar. That's the only thing different. So give this a try. See if you like it. But as far as I'm concerned, to me, this is a big thumbs up on a breakfast scone. And this is still hot. I know this is hot. So, thank you so much for watching. You'll have a great day. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. Take care. Bye-bye. I hope I stayed under my 15 minutes. We'll find out when I edit. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.